guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is Temperature Blanket Tuesday, and I'm so excited to share with you what my temperature blanket is looking like. And if you saw my last video where I talked about having a big announcement, I announced that I was going to be starting a second temperature blanket following Tiffany Hanson's crochet along. She is doing 2 temperature blankets as well, a bulky blanket and a 4-weight blanket. So I decided to jump in and join in on the chunky blanket where we do 2 rows per week. So I will put the playlist in the description for all my videos concerning my 2023 temperature blankets. So if you want to know why I chose the colors I chose, or any more details, how I decided to set up the blanket, all of that information will be in one of those other videos. So definitely check those out if you haven't seen those yet. But I'm doing, for my 4-weight, the moss stitch. I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, and I'm using variegated. I love this yarn, so I decided to be different and do a variegated blanket, but I love the way it's turning out. So I'm going to start with that one, and I'm going to show you my new setup in my planner. Now that I'm doing 2 blankets, I needed more of a organized way of keeping all of this straight. So I'm going to show you my new setup in my planner, and then I'm going to quickly go over each day and what color I used and show you the blanket, and then we'll move on to the other blanket. So I am doing the high for my 4-weight blanket. And for the chunky blanket, I'm doing 2 rows a week, one being the weekly average high and the other being the weekly average low. So the way that I decided to set this up, let me just bring that in. Hopefully you can see well how I am going about it. So I am putting the high and low temperature for each day. I'm using the app Wonderground, and they have a calendar there that shows you all the information for that month. So I'm doing the high and low, and whenever I complete a row in my 4-weight blanket, I underline it. And then over here, when I get a full week of temperatures, then I average it out, and I do, so I write down the weekly average high and low, and then once I do that row, I put a check mark and just write out here the color that I used. So down here is my little key. For the chunky blanket, I'm only using 5 colors. For the 4-weight, I'm using 10. So I made a temperature chart for the 4-weight. And then for the 5-weight, or the chunky blanket, I just did right here. So that is the new setup, and it has worked extremely well for me. I was getting a little confused the other way I was doing it, so this is perfect. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm just going to show you what the blanket's looking like. I am in love with it. It's beautiful. I love colorful variegated yarns, so this is right up my alley. And we have been having some crazy weather in Kentucky where I live. I have used, just in the last 7 days, 4 different colors. So our weather is all over the place. We are getting ready to have some more consistent temperatures though, so I'll have some big chunks of colors, so that's good. But right now it's been a little bit all over the place. So here is what it is looking like so far. And it is just so pretty. I've said this a million times, but it reminds me of like stained glass. And I love this. And the moss stitch is so nice. I love that it's a very nice stretchy fabric, but it's dense. So there's no holes. It's going to be a very nice, warm, soft blanket. I really hope that you guys are loving the way this is working up as well. As I've said before, I know that using variegated yarns for a temperature blanket is not traditional, but I cannot wait to see what this blanket looks like all worked up at the end of the year. So I have my little stitch marker here showing where I left off last week. So 7 rows is what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about Tuesday, January 17th through Monday, January 23rd. And I'm trying to make it a point to weave in my ends at the end of every week. I did a good job up until this week. I still need to do that. But anyway, so the high for Tuesday the 17th was 64 degrees. And so the color for that is this beautiful sunset color. And I love that I added this color because it just adds a pop of color. A pop of color. I mean, this whole blanket's a pop of color, but bright, a bright pop of color. So you can see here these beautiful purplish pink colors. I just love it, into that bright neon orange, just beautiful turquoise, so pretty. Okay, and then the next day, the 18th, which was Wednesday, 55 degrees, so the color spring green, and I've used a lot of this so far. So obviously just right here, this green row above the purple. So light greens, dark greens, all that. And then for Thursday the 19th, it was 64 for the high again. So again, that's sunset color. So here you can see we've got this beautiful like minty seawater green color into the lime green. And then let's see so more of that orange right here. And then more of that bright green, purple right there. Beautiful. And at the very end of this row, let's see. Okay, I thought it moved into the pink. It's kind of pinky right there. Okay. Then for Friday the 20th was 41 degrees. And then Saturday the 21st was 43 degrees. So cinnamon cedar, which is this beautiful color here. Now this color reminds me so much of fall. And it's not fall. I did not expect really to be using much of that in January. The temperature range for that one is 41 through 50. So I had 2 rows of that cinnamon cedar. You can see here it's these yellowish mustard colored rows, and then you see some of that orange, some burgundy pops of color there, and green again, deep mustard color. So really pretty. And then over here it is sort of like a bluish purple color, this one right here. And then for Sunday the 22nd was 38 degrees, so we used the color Lakefront, and I've only used this one a few times. So this one is for 31 to 40 degrees, and I really love the way that looks as well. It is this like cornflower blue color, and you still more of that blue. And then over here, it moves into like this beige color. So really pretty. And then the last one is Monday the 23rd, which was 41 degrees. So back to that cinnamon cedar, that fall color looking one. And for this row, we got a lot of green out of that skein. So green and bluish purple, and then back into a bright green. One little stitch of like a burgundy. I don't know what happened there. So very pretty into like a yellowish green color. So one more look at that, and I just love the way this looks so much. I think this is going to be one of my absolute favorite projects that I've ever completed. And again, it only takes me about 5 minutes to do one row. So what I've been doing lately is working on maybe like 3 to 4 days at a time. So yeah, that's been working really good for me, and I'm just very happy with the way that this is working up. Okay, so on to the chunky blanket. So as I mentioned, I will post Tiffany Hanson's video below as well, or her playlist for her temperature blankets. But I originally, when I decided to do a temperature blanket, was gonna follow her crochet along, and then I decided not to because I wanted to track every day, daily temperatures. So I just decided to go with my own thing on that. But as I was, looking through her different stitches that she is incorporating into the blanket, because it is a sampler temperature blanket, I just couldn't resist. And I'm just having so much fun with the temperature blankets so far this year that I thought it would just be awesome to start a second one. And with it only being 2 rows a week, it doesn't take that much time, as well as because this one is so colorful, which I mentioned before, I absolutely love it. I did want to do something a little more traditional as well. So I do have a video showing the colors I chose for that. So again, the playlist will be linked below so you can go and check that out. I'm not going to go over all the colors again. I'm just going to tell you the 2 that I used over the last few weeks. So you can see here, so I have 6 rows completed because we, as I said, do 2 rows a week. So the average high, the average low. And so for Saturday the 7th, for that week, it was a average high of 57 and an average low of 42. So because I'm only doing 5 colors, my temperature ranges are a little different. So you can see 80 and above, 60 to 79, 40 to 59, 20 to 39, and then 19 and below. And so for the high and the low, we have the same color for the first week. For the second week, we have an average high of 50 and a low of 36. So the high was that same yellow, but then we added this light jasmine lavender color for the low. And then for the third week, we had an average high of 53, which is again that yellow, and the average low was 37, so back to that purple. So I am holding 2 strands together, and the way that I'm doing it is I'm pulling from the inside of the skein and from the outside of the skein. I've done that before and it's worked really well for me. I don't have any issues with tangling, and so it's worked great for me. But I am holding the 2 strands together, and I know that it's going to be a very heavy, bulky blanket. I'm totally fine with that. I made a scrap blanket, a few months ago, maybe close to a year ago now, and it is a very heavy blanket, but I love it. It is double-stranded and it feels like a weighted blanket, so it is going to be huge. I do know that, but I'm fine with it. So here it is, and as I was saying, it is a sampler blanket. So this month, I believe, is called the crunch stitch, maybe, or something like that. It's slip stitch and then half double crochet. So here is what this is looking like so far, and it's been a lot of fun. I'm using red heart, so it's not the softest yarn, but I wanted this blanket to be affordable, and so I went with an affordable yarn, and I am gonna wash and dry this. I don't mind to wash and dry my acrylic blankets, so I think it'll soften up a little bit. But you can see these first 3 rows were that yellow color. Pale yellow is the name. Here's an up close of, here's an up close of what the stitches are looking like. So then we went to that light jasmine color, and then back to the yellow, and then back to the jasmine. So I cannot wait to see what this one is going to look like as well. I chained, I believe it was about 230. I can't remember right now, and I'm not going to count it, but I think it was about 230. So, pretty wide, but not crazy long or crazy wide. So I'm really excited about that. I had debated holding a strand of black. And I had you guys kind of give me your input on that. And the reason I chose not to hold black with this is because I really did want the stitches to shine through, because it is a sampler blanket. I wanted it to be very easy to see each stitch. But I did start a scrap blanket, another scrap blanket, holding a strand of black yarn, because I just couldn't resist. I had already bought the black yarn, and so many of you guys said that you thought that would work up really beautifully, and I did too. So I started another scrap blanket, so you guys will see that in Friday's Everything I Crocheted This Week video. I can't wait to share it with you. It's amazing. My other scrap blanket that I've done before is holding a strand of white, and so I love the way that looks, but this is like reversed. So now every color in the blanket against the black looks so bright and so beautiful. I cannot wait to share it with you guys. So definitely stay tuned for that. The last thing that I wanted to mention is, I've thought about this a lot and prayed about it, and I really want to pursue YouTube as a job for me. As some of you all know, or if you watched my video, I did recently get monetized. Now, obviously, just getting monetized, I haven't made a lot of money yet. I know that takes time, but my youngest son starts kindergarten in August, and I've always planned to go back to work when he goes to kindergarten. I have been a stay-at-home mom for the most part since my older son was little. He's 10 years old. I did work part-time for a few years, but it was pretty, for a lot of it, I did work, quite a few hours for a while, but then as my second son was born, I didn't work very much at all. So anyway, I had always planned to go back to work, but I've decided to see if I can make YouTube work for me, at least make a part-time income, because I did plan to just go back part-time at first. So if I could even just make a part-time income with YouTube between now and when I'm needing to go back to work, then I could continue to do this as my job, and that would just be so amazing. It is something that I never expected to even have this opportunity. So I'm so thankful to God for this opportunity, and I know that if this is His will for me to do this as a job, that He will make a way for me and provide for me. So, but anyways, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I know that several people have asked how they can support me. So I may do other things in the future, but for now, I signed up for Buy Me a Coffee. I will put the link below, and you can just click the link and you can buy me a coffee, and that helps support my channel and helps me get closer to my goal of making this a job so that I can help support my family and have the flexibility to be home when I need to be home, and it would just be a total dream. So anyways, I just want to thank you guys again so much for your support. Without you, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to even think of doing this as a job. So just thank you to every single one of you that likes, comments, subscribes, everything. I mean, if you can't afford to support me in that way financially, that is totally fine. You can support me by liking and commenting or sharing my videos or subscribing. It all helps me so much. So I appreciate each and every single one of you. But I did want to just put that out there for those who had asked about it. So thank you again so much for watching. I pray that you have an amazing week. Oh, Bible verse, guys. Bible verse. Got ahead of myself there. So before I go, the Bible verse was the Bible verse of the day on YouVersion, the Bible app that I use, and I just love this so much. A lot of people say something similar to this at the end of the Lord's Prayer, but it is 1 Chronicles 29:11, and it says, "Yours, O Lord, is the greatness and the power and the glory and the victory and the majesty, for all that is in the heavens and in the earth is yours." Yours is... Hopefully that didn't cut off. Yours is the kingdom, O Lord, and you are exalted as head above all. And I just love that because it's such a verse of praise, just pure praise to God and giving God all the glory for being the most powerful, awesome God that there could ever be. And everything in this earth, outside of this earth, in space, He created time, space, matter, all those things are His, and He deserves all the glory. So I just want to give Him the glory for this channel, because I was talking about making it a job. I'm just so thankful to God that He's given me this opportunity, that He's blessed me with you guys. You all have just been such a blessing in my life. This is such an amazing community. So I just give all praise and honor and glory to God, the Father, for making a way for me to share my hobby and just get so much joy out of it. So thank you guys again so much. I've said that a million times. I'm sorry, but just thank you. I'm just so happy to be here with you guys. So I pray that God blesses you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.